This morning we were covering these indirect enemies. Indirect enemies. So, in short, in case you're still confused, the right column, this indirect enemy, talks about more mundane emotions, mundane social emotions. For example, personal affection. I think today, is Father's Day, right? Father's Day. So between father and child, you can hug and kiss and whatever. That's between father and child. But do you do this to your colleagues, to other strangers? Right? So the emotion between the father and child is only special to the father and child. You cannot do the same to anybody. So we have to have this social kind of demarcation. So we have this social demarcation on the right column, but the transcendental state of mind is more towards the middle path. So regardless you have affection to your parents or don't have affection to a stranger, you still have this boundless love for all of them. So at least we get this clear first. Okay, then we're going to talk about this one, Karaniya Metta Sutta. This appear in the chanting book, Karaniya Metta Sutta, and drinks. So this Karaniya Metta Sutta is universally chanted in all the Theravada Buddhist tradition, whether it's Sri Lanka or Thai or Myanmar. So all will chant this Karaniya Metta Sutta. But over the years, somehow this chant initially was instruction on how to practice metta. But over time, somehow it become exorcism chant. If you got ghost problem, chant Karaniya Metta Sutta. Become like this. Probably due to, I would say, misinterpretation of the commentarial story behind the sutta. So there's a prelude to the sutta. They talk about some monks who are meditating in a forest, and a tree spirit or whatever forest spirit doesn't welcome them, so give them scary images. Then they cannot meditate, so they go back to see the Buddha, complain, cannot meditate on ghosts. Then this Buddha taught this Karaniya Metta Sutta to them. So afterwards, they go back to the forest, can meditate, everything in peace. Right? So people think this is an exorcism chant. Exorcism chant. So no. So I'll just go through this Karaniya Metta Sutta. It gives outline on how to practice. In fact, in order to practice any meditation object, you need to fulfill the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, so the ones in blue, maybe a bit hard to see, but the ones in bracket and blue is my own wording. It's my own wording, not from the sutta. Okay, so we just roughly read through. Maybe I just read through. Right, he who is skilled in working out his own well-being and who wishes to attain that state of calm should act thus. So a person who wishes to achieve the highest calm, which is Nibbana, we call it right view. Right view. So a person wants to practice metta or practice any kind of cultivation of Buddhism should aim for this highest peace, right view, not to meditate to achieve other abilities, to learn to fly or see 4D numbers and that kind of stuff. So we're not doing that. Then the rest talks about your virtue, dexterous, upright, exceedingly upright, obedient, gentle, humble. So we talk about the sila aspect. So sila would be your right speech, action, livelihood. But our precept is a bit passive. Not tell you don't do this, don't do that, right? But never tell you to do good, only avoid evil, right? But never tell you to do good. So in this case, it's a bit more proactive, ask you to do good. So important to have positive qualities. Okay, then the next one, some more for monks. Contented, easily supportable, with but few responsibilities, of simple livelihood, control in senses. Okay, so we first talk about few responsibilities. So if you come to the monastery setting, is it who find it more hectic than your household life? Who find it less hectic than your home life? Less hectic, right? So, okay, so if you find it less hectic, if you want to talk about pursuing or serious in the practice, some people want to stay long term in the temple, or some people even ordain, right? So that is the benefits of maybe channeling the energy more to practice, right? Spend less time, earning a living, and kind of do more of the practice. Okay, simple livelihood. Okay, so for monks, even talk about like a real monastery, our livelihood is simple in a sense. There's a lot of Vinaya rules. There are a lot of things you cannot do. Maybe some temples, maybe the city temples or whatever, maybe Singapore, whatever, they need to make money, raise funds all the time. The land in Singapore very expensive, the rent very expensive. So sometimes they go to the extent of maybe like fortune telling, like selling amulets and those kind of stuff. So those are not really part of the monastic rules or not allowed in monastic rules, but they go further to appeal to the maybe animistic or the spiritist aspect of folk religions, maybe more popular, maybe divination, palm reading, those kind of stuff. So by right, if a person wants to aim for Nibbana, we should stay clear with all these kind of businesses. If not, long queue. Now only have how many? 20 over people, right? 20 people. But if let's say this retreat is on astrology, fortune telling, confirm beyond beyond full house. Need 2 or 3 monasteries to accommodate. I remember when I was in Singapore Poly, they have a course after school. I mean, for the working adults, they have a course for feng shui, a full house feng shui. So people love this kind of stuff. So, so for monks, if you want a super busy lifestyle, then that is the way to go. But actually, if a person wants nibbana, you should avoid all this. Then the next one, control in the senses. So this is actually high-level meditation, control in senses. So we have 6 senses in Buddhism: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. 6. Control in senses means whatever contact you have with whatever you see or hear or whatever it is, you do not react with greed or anger. Or you try to overcome this greed and anger. So it's called control in senses. So this is very high-level thing. So in order to make it easier, we have the, you have the 8 precepts. That means you totally avoid all the entertainment. Right? So it kind of reduce the thing. But for monastic, we have more rules. We have things like cast the eyes downwards. Don't suka-suka look around. So we are not meant to enjoy sightseeing actually, We have nothing to do, look downwards. How to enjoy the scenery? So you look downwards. Because once you have contact, very easy for the mind to create the AI stories, all the mind, talk about AI, right? Generate stories and pictures and stuff like that. So the mind love to create stories, love to create scenarios, a lot of worries and restlessness and fantasy and whatever. Okay, so prudent, courteous, not hanker after association with families. So the last one is more for monks. So for monks, we don't have, I would say, financial power. We don't buy and sell things. So most of the time we live on donation. So if the monk, let's say, wants something, maybe want to buy a new item, and hanker after families means keep on approaching people. Hey, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. They keep on persuading people to buy things for you. Then not so nice. So it's called pestering people. So if a monk is contented, they shouldn't ask too much. So there's a clause. The clause is unless the layperson requests. So if let's say a layperson come to a monk and they say, "Oh, Bante, if you need anything, please let me know." That is a different case. Then the monk can, if they need anything, approach you. So there's an invitation. But if let's say there's no invitation, we cannot suka come up to some random person. Yeah, I want this, I want that. Then people will think they're so demanding of this monk. So not so nice for the Buddhist image. Okay, let him not perform the slightest wrong for which wise men may rebuke him. So again, more on the virtue part, right? So whatever mistake, this wrong, right or wrong, very subjective. In some other culture, whatever is good down here may be bad. I don't know, maybe some ancient culture have human sacrifice, and their priests believe that it's a good thing. Yeah, human sacrifice. Maybe they dig out the heart or whatever it is. I don't know. But if you want to talk about Buddhist context, we need good and bad with reference to wise persons. Wise persons. Anything that lead to wholesome mind, anything that lead to detachment, and that's good. Anything that leads to more greed, more anger, more selfishness, then that's unwholesome. So we try to avoid. So again, not to do anything that accumulate any form of stress or greed or remorse. Okay, so this is the instruction. So now we talk about right thought. So on the first day of the retreat, I emphasize, right thought means non-greed, non-hatred. So in this case, thoughts of non-hatred would be loving kindness. So in this particular sutta, or rather in the suttas, the instruction is to wish all beings well and happy. Right? May all beings be happy and safe. May they have happy minds. Right? So this is the instruction. Of course, most people are familiar with the post-canonical instruction is to wish yourself, then wish your loved ones, then wish strangers, then you wish your enemies, something like that. So in the sutta is to wish all beings. So to throw in a spanner, there's even a sutta called the simile of the saw. Simile of the saw. So the Buddha gives an example. If two persons were to tie you up and try to saw you in half, take a very long saw and try to saw you. Not magic show. I mean, the Buddha gives an example. People torturing you, saw you in half. You should have loving kindness to them. Shouldn't have hatred to them. So this metaphor is trying to say whatever criticism, whatever harm or abuse you receive, according to the sutta, the first thing to wish is to wish that harmful person well and happy. Then you extend to everybody. So it's the other way around. The other way around. So we are not using emotion, the mundane emotion as a benchmark. We are using the transcendental kind of loving kindness, a state of mind, to pervade to the whole universe. Okay, so the next paragraph talks about the definition of all beings. So I talk about feeble or strong, right, spiritually or physically or whatever it is. Long, stout, medium, short, right, all the different sizes, seen or unseen. So if we talk about unseen beings, how to visualize? Right, cannot visualize, right? So it's impossible to visualize all beings. Those dwelling far or near, those are born and those yet to be born, right? May all beings have happy minds. So this is just like the definition, broad definition of all beings. Okay, then again, more on the right effort. Let him not deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. In anger or ill will, let him not wish another ill. Right. So in the definition of right effort, it means whatever unwholesome state of mind, for example, like anger or jealousy or whatever it is, do not let it arise. Do not let it arise. But if it already arisen, try our best to overcome it. Try our best to reduce and overcome it. So that's the definition of right effort. And if you have not cultivated wholesome states like loving kindness, you should develop it, grow it. And if you already have loving kindness, try to maintain and even perfect it. Right? So that's the definition of right effort. Okay, so this is an interesting statement. Just as a mother would protect her only child with her life. So because some people see this statement, they think, okay, loving kindness is motherly love. Loving kindness is motherly love. Who agree loving kindness is motherly love? Okay, after you hear my statement, a lot of people don't agree. Right? Okay, I'll share my interpretation on this later. Huh? Okay, even so, let one cultivate a boundless love towards all beings. Okay, so any mothers here? Okay, not criticizing, not criticizing. First of all, the context of this scripture, the target audience are monks. So the Buddha is teaching to monks. So monks do not know what is motherly love. So that's the first one. So for mothers, I haven't gone through I experienced what is pregnancy. So this is just my own personal take. So when a female or mother goes through pregnancy, the child, right, is within the mother's womb for several months, maybe 9 months or so. So in this time frame, there is, I would say, attachment or the sense of, no, this child really belongs to self, the sense of the me, right? It belongs to you or your child. Okay, so I'm going to give the context. There is like a neuroscientific experiment on attachment. So they give this, or they build this robotic arm. Who have heard of this experiment before? Only one person. Robotic arm. So they give, they bring some test subjects, some people to experiment. So they wire the brain to the arm. So whenever they move the arm, the robot arm also moves exactly the same. But the robot arm has no nervous system connected. So the robot arm is robot arm, the person arm is the person's arm. Right? So this is I would say, the experiment. So what the scientists did, is to cover a curtain so that this person cannot see their own arm. But what they can see is the robotic arm. They only can see the robotic arm. So what the scientists do is, in the experiment, they try to do the same thing to the arm. So for example, if the person move one finger, the robot arm also move one finger. They open the fingers, the robot arm also open the fingers, whatever they do. So they let them play the arm for a while. Over some time, maybe, I don't know, maybe a few minutes or whatever, this person grow a sense of attachment to the robot arm. And when there is this kind of link, then the scientists come up with a hammer and smash the robot arm. And all the test subjects also feel the same, feel very painful. Even though originally the arm is not theirs, not built by them, doesn't belong to them. They never pay for it also. No? They are just come here for the experiment only. So they feel the pain. So this is called attachment. Whatever initially doesn't belong to us, we associate it for some time, they become us, become a sense of self, like you are extension of it. So imagine if the so-called, the fetus or the child inside the mother's womb for so many months, So whatever they do, sleep together, eat together, everything do together. It's like a part of you, man. It's inside your body somewhere, right? So there is a strong sense of this belonging to the mother, and of course there's these biological hormones and everything, to feel closeness and all. So there is a certain attachment element to it. How nice you treat the child depends again on the mother's morality. Some, maybe you have read on newspapers, some parents maybe abuse the child. In Singapore, I also read of the parents putting the baby right into the dumpster, try to throw the baby away. So, it depends on the mother's morality or sense of morality. So again, very subjective. So it's not I would say, detached or enlightened kind of love, but there is definitely affection. And definitely there is affection. Any mothers disagree with my statement? Okay, sorry if any offense, but okay, this is just my personal take, coming from a non-mother. Okay, so this statement means because the mother hold on to the child, protect the child so well. So this holding on is a metaphor. That means the practitioner should hold on to the thought of loving kindness, not hold on to the clinging. That's the metaphor. I hope you understand this statement. Okay. Okay, then this is the part where we talk about radiating the loving kindness in all directions, above, below, all across, all directions, not hindered. And you do develop this concentration, right? So this is the Karanya Metta Sutta. Earlier on this morning, I mentioned another sutta called the Mettang Sutta. There's the N behind the Metta. So it talks about what kinds of concentration can these sublime states lead to. It's a whole spectrum. Okay, then at the last paragraph, right? Not really the last, the next one. Standing, sitting, walking, lying down. So some meditation objects you can multitask. Even when working, when, sweeping the floor or eating, you also can practice loving kindness. You can do it the whole day. Whereas some meditation, for example, the breath meditation, is restricted to being stationary. So if, let's say, you read the Anapanasati Sutta, they'll tell you have to be seated. Seated, right? Sitting position, then you watch your breath. This one tells you can do in all posture, all position, all activities. So this is one of the benefits. So some people, if they only learn the breath meditation, they'll have this interesting response. They'll say, I got no time to meditate. Where got time to meditate? Where got time to sit down? I'm always busy working. But if you learn loving kindness, when you move around, you still can meditate. Every moment is a condition for meditation. For example, some people can get angry the whole day. Or frustrated the whole day, grumpy or sad. So we're just doing the opposite. We're just doing the opposite. So we're training or reprogramming the mind to do the opposite. Okay. So we call this noble living, or this part of right mindfulness. So we'll cover right mindfulness again in future slides. So one of them talks about all postures, all activities. Okay, not falling into wrong views. Being virtuous, endowed with insight, last in the senses discarded. Never again will he return to conceive in the womb. So this is the finale. So it talks about if a person is liberated, they won't come back. Right, so there's another sutta that I showed earlier this morning, the Samyutta Nikaya. The 4 Brahmaviharas can lead to liberation, lead to awakening. So that's the compassion of the Buddha. So most of the meditation instructions, if following the Eightfold Path, should lead to enlightenment. So if any meditation practice, if doesn't follow the Eightfold Path, then cannot reach enlightenment. For example, even breath meditation. If a person do breath meditation in the, I would say, in the direction of Qigong, for example, then their intention is just to heal the body only, prolong their lifespan, increase their longevity, their life force. If that's their main objective, that's their view and the intention, then it doesn't lead to liberation. It doesn't lead to detachment. Yes, you can be healthy. I'm not criticizing Qigong. You can do that for health reasons, but for Buddhist meditation, if you just learn only this, then you're shortchanging yourself. You're shortchanging yourself. At the moment of death or crisis, no matter how much qi you do, you cannot revive yourself. Right? So we talk about detachment. So you have to learn the Eightfold Path, detachment. Okay, so same with loving kindness. If a person just stick to the mundane emotion, just personal affection, yes, you can see it for many, many hours. Just I love my mother, I love my father. You love, and a bit hard to go beyond. Nothing wrong to have filial piety and gratefulness to parents. Nothing wrong, but it's not the transcendental state of mind. Right? So the loving kindness here talks about the more boundless. Okay. I'm not sure whether it's time. Maybe I'll talk a bit about this not returning to the womb. So just now, the previous slide in the morning, either an arahant or a non-returner. So usually the Buddha will mention this. Either arahant or non-returner, same for the Satipatthana Sutta. If you practice very hard, for 7 years or 7 days or whatever, the person can achieve either arahant or a non-returner. Okay, so these are the so-called, this laser is not working on the screen, so pardon me. So if you look at the chart, who have not heard of these 4 stages of sainthood? All heard before, so I don't want to go through. So this is basic Buddhist knowledge, I suppose. So if a person become arahant, no more rebirth. If they are a once returner, then they are reborn this special pure abode. And if you're a stream or once returner, still need to come back. Okay. Any questions? So this is the end of my presentation. Yes.
Once more, I thought can go through all the 5 years.
Oh yes, this one I think I heard being mentioned by Bhante Agachita, right? I won't know because I haven't been there, right? So again, for the most of the Buddhist understanding, right, is one more lifetime. But it might be possible that any deva, if they have reached the highest state of mind, then they won't exist in that realm. So they will go higher, go into the highest state of mind. So it might work in that manner for the pure abode beings, because pure abode is not just one realm. There are multiple realms in the pure abode. So if let's say they continue to practice and work hard, maybe they upgrade. So Theravada path is not a selfish path. They go pure abode, upgrade, they live longer, and maybe they help more people, more eons. So if a person wants to compare with the Bodhisattva path, stages of the Bodhisattva path, one of them talks about a ruler of the pure abode, one of the stages. So there is some similarities. Okay. Yep, that's the end. Any other questions?
Yeah. The string interval must be 7 times, so that yes, once you get that, got attained once you turn the previous life, then this life became him. and he must become Arahant before dying or can still become Brahmavihara?
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, so for once returned, it is believed lah. So if they come back once, then they will achieve the
So must stick to Arahant.
path. Probably, because either Arahant or a non-return. So very close, yeah, very close. So I have no idea. This is just conjecture at this point of time. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, pure abode. Pure abode in Chinese, anybody know? Huh? 境界哈，境界，境界。I think there might be a chart somewhere in the 31 realms, and there might be some Chinese characters on it. So you're able to find it. Ah, yeah, there, yeah. Yeah, there. On the right side of the window, yeah. So there is. Is there a Chinese wording on it? Huh. Which part of the temple? Oh, there. Dining area. Okay, so tomorrow go to dining area, then you can look at the chart. Okay. Any other questions? No questions, all okay? Okay. Okay, metta. So in the suttas, if a person practices metta only, the jhanic concentration maximum can be until fourth jhana. Yeah, but some, and maybe, yeah, Visuddhi Magga will say 3. Visuddhi Magga will say 3. So the suttas will say 4. So that's some of the differences. Yeah. Can. So one of the misconception about jhanas is that we enter jhana, wow, too still, cannot think of anything. That might not be true. Yeah, that might not be true. Depends on what kind of concentration you combine with. If a person want to combine with the visualization of the light one, might be easier to absorb and become too still. So that is one possibility. But if a person were to combine jhanas with vipassana, there is a possibility a person still can reflect while they are inside the jhanas. So one good example is the Jhana Sutta. Every level, from the first all the way to the different formless concentrations, the Buddha encouraged the practitioner to contemplate impermanent suffering, non-self, the whole list lah. This emptiness lah, this decaying lah, alien and whatever. Yeah? So one whole list of reflections. Yeah. Any other question? So we'll talk more about that on the future lesson. So on the lesson on samadhi, there will be this reference. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no questions, then we do the guided sitting. Guided sitting. So you want to do some stretching, can do stretching. Want to sit on a chair, can sit on a chair. Upgrade. Okay, so without further ado, we can start the guided sitting. So again, emphasis is not on the sitting. Emphasis is on the generating the right thought. Okay, since we're on the topic of metta, then we do the loving kindness. So we're going to first make sure we're seated upright, body relaxed. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is feel the sensations of the body. So we call this mindfulness of the 4 elements. So these 4 elements are the earth, fire, wind, and water elements. Nothing magical about them. Earth represents any hard or soft sensations. Fire is hot and cold. Wind is the movement, any fast, slow movements. And water is the moist or dry sensations. Okay, so feeling the sensation itself, there's no Dhamma value. Anybody can feel also. So in order to be more Buddhistic, we add the right thought. So we are going to wish the sensations well and happy. Because if you don't wish, what will happen is if you feel something shiok, or a nice sensation, then the mind will create story. I experienced this before, I want some more. No? You create a lot of stories. So we don't want that. If we experience something unpleasant, then the mind will relate to some unpleasant sensation before, we create some stories and complain. Then we do not want that also. So we avoid both extremes. So the middle way is to generate right thought, right effort, follow the Eightfold Path. So we keep repeating, keep on wishing the sensations well and happy, new sensation appear, wish it well and happy. So if you're unable to identify which element, doesn't matter. I don't have to crack your brain to figure out, is it the earth element, is it the water element? No need. Just a general guide. So the whole idea is let it appear naturally by themselves. No controlling, don't have to purposely generate the sensation. And it may appear at any part of the body. Sometimes can feel at the neck, sometimes feel at the knee, doesn't matter. As long as you detect something, we make friends with it, make peace with it, wish it well and happy. No struggling, no fighting. So the more you generate the right thought, wishing the sensations well and happy, we call it part of the Four Noble Truths, the fourth Noble Truth. If you're applying the Noble Eightfold Path, then you should be able to reduce craving and stress. And if you are quite successful, the mind should be able to calm down. So that is the third Noble Truth, reduce suffering and craving. But if you meditate, the more stressful you become, the more anxiety, there is something wrong. So that's the first 2 Noble Truths. Too much expectation or too much worry. You have plans later, you need to worry about doing something. And then that's the first 2 Noble Truths. So continue to wish the sensations well and happy until the mind settles down to your current maximum level. That means you come down until it cannot come down anymore. But regardless of what happened, keep on wishing the sensations well and happy. Huh? Okay, if let's say you have reached this so-called maximum calmness, we call this your current um, baseline emotion. So in this state, there is no concentration, no insight, no nothing. Huh? This is a neutral state, neutral baseline state. So we take note of this emotion first. And now we are going to cultivate this boundless loving kindness. We are going to wish all beings in all directions well and happy. So all beings, that means above, below, all across, all directions. Don't have to push your mind. Huh? You just make a simple wish and let the mind extend by itself. No pushing. Huh? Anytime, any kind of pushing will create resistance. Resistance means boundaries. Okay, and in that widened sphere of attention, we are going to treat all beings as the four elements. All beings are made of the four elements. So whatever sensation that we detect, we are going to wish all beings well and happy. So in this routine, no visualization. Huh? Once you visualize some creature very cute, now you have some emotion, certain emotion. You think of some creature very scary looking, then you have a different emotion. So we try to avoid the story making at this point. So we learn to recharge the mind. So we perceive all beings as the elements, kind of stun the perception. So whatever sensation you may detect inside the body or outside the body, near or far, small or large area, doesn't matter. You detect something, then we wish all beings well and happy. So the labeling is to wish all beings. So keep repeating, new sensation appear, may all beings be well and happy. New sensation appear, may all beings be well and happy. Okay, so if you continuously turn the Dhamma wheel, right, have all this right thought, right effort, and everything, it may activate the right concentration. So usually, by wishing all beings well and happy, one may trigger this first level of concentration. So the indicator will be any increment of this joy or happy emotion or peace or more peace compared to the neutral baseline emotion. So regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing all beings well and happy, and treat everything else as a byproduct, a passing phase. Okay, and we are going to do the insight portion of this loving kindness. We are going to think of impermanence. Yeah? Instead of wishing all beings well and happy, we replace the label with impermanence or any word or phrase associated with impermanence. You can use rising and falling, birth and death, anicca, change, inconstant. Yeah, just pick a favorite and keep repeating. Okay, so if you reflect on impermanence and if real detachment take place, then there should be a surge of joy arising for a while. So that's this retreat theme called the 7 factors of awakening. It's a chain reaction actually. So no matter what happens, just keep on reflecting on impermanence. Actually, keep labeling impermanence or the emotional thing that come by, just let it come and go. So the main thing is to keep labeling and synchronizing the sensation. Do not go into any story making. 4 element sensations, mindfulness of the body. Okay, so if let's say that search or joy disappear, that moment it disappears is called tranquility, another factor. And if you continue to be mindful of impermanence, keep labeling impermanence, you will go into another state of peace. Okay, if you start to experience some kind of alert or refreshing kind of experience, we call that emotion equanimity. So there's no more joyful or happy emotions. And regardless of what you experience, keep on labeling impermanence. So the process of detachment is a long journey. So the more you think of impermanence, is by rowing the boat towards the direction of the other shore. And if let's say you stop thinking of impermanence, you are not rowing, and basically you're letting the currents and waves of stray thoughts drag your boat all over the place. Okay, if you find that this impermanence only reflection a bit too boring, you want some kind of investigation or more investigation, then we can use the 5 clinging aggregates. 5 clinging aggregates. So these sensations can be felt, or there's movement of your attention through your 6 sense doors. Your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. So earlier on the sutta I talked about restraint in senses. So what do you mean by control or restraint in senses? Every time you detect something and you let the mind autopilot, that is not restraint in senses. The mind will create a lot of movies. Once you detect any sensation, restraint means applying the right thought. and you kind of stun the craving perceptions. So how to reflect in a way to so-called stun these craving perceptions. So we can use the 5 aggregates. We perceive any contact, any place where our attention lands as the 5 clinging aggregates. So the first aggregate, wherever you pay attention to, there will be the 4 elements, form aggregate. So there's the earth, fire, wind, water sensations. Sometimes you may feel more density, maybe the earth element is more predominant, sometimes more heat, so that fire element more predominant, sometimes more movement, that's the wind element predominant. So even our attention moving, all the 4 elements are there. And you can reflect on the form aggregate by asking yourself 3 questions. First question, related to what we chanted earlier, the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. Are these form aggregates, are these elements permanent or impermanent by themselves? If you do not interfere, right, don't go and try to control, don't manipulate, is it always the same or is it always changing? So this is your own evidence. And the second question, according to the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, is anything changing stressful? Does it give you constant this state of security? And the third question, if it's constantly changing and you cannot will it, I want to feel warm forever, not the heat element, I want to feel cool forever. Right? If you cannot have total control, can you call it truly self? Okay, so this reflection on non-self requires some logical deduction. So for those who are not into logical deduction, your mind stray off too much, then just go into impermanence only. But for those who are seeking a bit of variety, then we go on to this reflection. So the feeling aggregate, same thing. Wherever you land your attention, it can have pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, or neutral feeling. So are these feelings permanent or impermanent by themselves? So that's the first question. Second question. Are these changes of feelings, stressful or not stressful. Can you tell your feelings to be pleasant forever? So that's what most people wish. They want to be pleasant forever, no painful feeling at all. You want to sit like Buddha statue all the time, right? No painful feelings. And if you have this kind of wish, right, does it cause any kind of stress and suffering? And if it's always changing and always causing you stress, can it truly be called self? And for the third aggregate, okay, so for this reflection part, if you want to move, can move. Those who need to move or need to stand, you can do so while being mindful of impermanence. So for the perception aggregate, perception basically means using your memories to try to cognize the current contact, to make sense of that contact. So are your memories, are your perception permanent or impermanent? If you find your memories permanent, like some cloud data storage, and your special case. Okay, so for most people, if let's say you cannot remember every single thing, are these memories a cause for stress? And they're subject to change and decay. Is it stressful? Every time you try to recall something, forget it. Try to recall something that you have least kind of repetition. And the third question, if it brings stress and it's always changing, subject to decay, can it be truly called self? So at this moment, it seems a bit like fear rising. So in order to experience this non-self or not self, you need to constantly row the boat and keep on reflecting on impermanence until the sense of self or the selfishness reduce. So you can check this sense of self, is it increasing or decreasing in its intensity? If it changes, then Is this sense of self even real in the first place? So maybe some people boleh tahan already. So we're going to mindfully sort of come out from the meditation, but informally still can generate right thought. Keep on thinking of either loving kindness or impermanence. Okay, so we have this emphasis to bring the meditation out to your activities. So can you still maintain this detachment even when eyes are open? Try to actively reflect on impermanence. Okay, for those who are not in the so-called formal meditation mode, any questions at this point? Any issues in the meditation? Or no issues? Okay, if there is really no issues, then you continue with your detachment process. And still early night, so you can detach as much as you want until fall asleep and see whether you have any pleasant dreams. Loving kindness, pleasant dream.